Hi everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, hope all you guys are ready for the weekend. I'm here on a Friday morning sitting out in my backyard. It's a real pleasant day today. Temperatures have gone back up a little bit, but still no complaints. It's actually very similar to the weather that I was having when I was living on the mountain in Costa Rica. About 79, 80 during the day, about 59 or 60 at night. So still pleasant to sit outside at night. So no complaints here. So today's video is I want to talk about when raw food diets go wrong. Oh my. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you take the time now and hit that subscribe button and then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. When raw food diets go wrong. I every once in a while, you know, I've come close. I want to do this video. I've wanted to do this video a number of times. From time to time, I mean, and it could come up through Facebook or when I'm on YouTube or whatever, and I come across yet another one of the videos of somebody just slamming the raw vegan lifestyle or the raw food diet. Because it didn't work for them. It didn't work for them the way they were doing it. Now, once again, before I get into this video, I'm not advocating you got to do a fully raw diet. I'm not, you know, anybody's business. What they want to eat is their business. And I'm not knocking somebody because they decided maybe a raw vegan, the raw food diet or a fully raw food diet wasn't for them. The thing is with these videos, it's just the logic, it's just their approach, it's just their reasoning and thought processes that always irks me just a little bit, because it's almost like the old saying of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And when you see these videos, a lot of times when it's YouTubers that are doing it, hell hath no fury like a raw vegan scorned by his lifestyle, or so they think. They're angry. They're always so angry. These videos are always so angry, and they immediately just go from one extreme to the other. They may have been some of the most rabid advocates of the raw food diet in the past, and they go completely from one side to the other, forgetting that there's a lot of gray in between. One of the reasons I see so many people, and even some, like I watched a few YouTube videos the last few days, last couple of days, getting ready to talk about this one. And some of the people are quite, you know, have quite good sized channels, and some of the videos I watched have huge views. So they're, you know, they're not just the people, they're the people that have done it for a while. But they're the reasoning. And one thing I'll find is I can always kind of, and like I say, this is my opinion and it's not for me to judge what somebody eats, but if somebody is saying, if they're saying, okay, this diet is wrong, in other words, like they never kind of just say, well, you know what, maybe it didn't fit my circumstances, or maybe, which is usually the case, I didn't do it properly. I didn't get a wide enough variety of food, and you know, there's certain things I wasn't doing it properly. It was always the diet. It was always the lifestyle. It was always the food that betrayed them. It was always, okay, this way of doing things doesn't work. And one common theme I find behind a lot of them is there, and I've talked about this in numbers and numbers and numbers of videos, so you probably already know my thoughts on this, is because they were those types that were always trying to go deeper. It's always about getting cleaner, eating cleaner, everything pristine, everything pure. They're the purest of the pure. It's like, you know, that's a lot of the ones that really, you know, like really throw this lifestyle under the bus once they're done, are the ones that were the purest advocates in the first place. They're always detoxing, they're always cleansing. It's always like, oh, we're going to do that. Like, they're using language you don't even really understand. Excuse me there, I had a long delayed sneeze. But yeah, I mean, you know, usually I start really deconstructing their videos or deconstructing what they're saying, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course, yeah, there's a hole right there, there's a gap in what you're saying right there. Well, there's why this doesn't make sense. Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? And a lot of the time it's just like I say, they were trying to do this, and they get into this whole thing about, you know, the juicing. That's a whole another topic there, but I find a lot of them have that commonality too, where they get so heavily involved in the juicing. Juicing's a great thing, and I almost became seduced with that whole little living on juice type thing where you're constantly juicing all the time. I remember the first 3 or 4 months being on this lifestyle, maybe up until the first 6 or 8 months, was constantly in the kitchen doing a juice. Juice was a part of everything. And that was a large part of why I wasn't getting the amount of calories that I should get on this lifestyle. Calories, let's talk about that. Calories do count. A lot of the people that I've noticed that have bad things to say about a raw food diet, or it didn't work for them, whatever, they weren't eating enough food. They weren't eating enough food. They weren't eating enough of a variety of food. A lot of times they tried to go no fat, or they went way too low fat. So a lot of these people are comparing apples and oranges. They're comparing a very, very extreme version of a raw food diet, which, no, I wouldn't enjoy that either. Okay, then, no harm, no foul. There's a lot of people that I watch out there and that I actually admire that have gone, that have done the raw food lifestyle, and for one reason or another, lifestyle, activity level or whatever, have gone back to eating cooked foods. But the ones that I really kind of resonate more with are the ones, they don't throw the raw food thing under the bus. They just say, I decided 100% raw wasn't for me. And they don't go from one place to the other, from like, okay, everything has to be raw food all the time, to now I don't want any raw food at all. That's what I don't understand, why they don't at least take the good parts, the benefits of the diet. A lot of times I see this, and I would say this is in the large majority, maybe 70% or higher, when you see that raw foodist that goes back to cooked food on a regular basis, it's generally not like they just kind of, okay, well, I'm going to add some cooked food in. It just goes to all raw. It goes to all cooked food. All of a sudden, it goes from all raw to almost all cooked. They stop eating their fruit. They're eating cooked food, breakfast and lunch and dinner. Now, as you guys know, I eat cooked food from time to time, and I'm not guilty about it, and I don't try to hide it. I'm transparent about that. But my patterns are generally pretty much always the same. And I could see, like, even if something changed my mindset on the raw food thing and I decided, okay, well, I'm going to eat cooked food on a regular basis, maybe even every day, which I'm not, but then I would still pretty much live largely like I'm living right now. I would probably eat my fruit, my smoothies, things such as that for breakfast and lunch, and then I would have some cooked food at dinner. And then I would still have a certain amount of raw food with dinner. I wouldn't just go from all raw to now it's got to be all cooked. Listen, we don't have to always have this raw versus cooked mentality. There may be benefits to both. Now, me personally, yes, I thrive more when I'm eating all raw foods. I know that for a fact because I've tested it, and I'm not afraid to eat the cooked food from time to time, and I still will. I've had cooked food this week a couple of times. I got short on things, and I needed to supplement with a little cooked food. Very clean, very light. Mostly these days when I have cooked food, I will generally steam some Brussels sprouts and put on my salad, or maybe some zucchini, some Italian zucchini that we've been getting so good around here. But maybe just think about this if you're watching this and maybe you feel the raw food diet hasn't worked for you, or you're just barely hanging on to a raw food diet and you're thinking about, okay, I just can't do this thing anymore. At least think, if you aren't going to be fully raw, to not just like totally throw out the baby with the bathwater. That's a good analogy right there. In other words, like, okay, if you're going to eat cooked food and continue to learn and continue to read and educate yourself on what you're taking into your body. But don't get rid of the fruit. Don't get rid of the raw food. Don't get rid of the smoothies. There's a lot of benefit to that. We don't have to agree 100% on everything, but I think most of us will agree that why would you just like cut the fruit or cut all the raw food out of your diet just because you've decided you're not going to be fully raw? It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Humans are like that in life. Everybody wants to be like that in life. And one last thing, and I'm just going to kind of wind up on this. is maybe don't, I've always been like this my whole life. That's why I don't like to talk so big about something unless I know for a fact it's going to happen, or I know for a fact that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So many of these YouTubers back themselves into a corner, and then it's almost kind of like I think they feel embarrassed and they have to come out swinging, and they have to come out with this angry aggressive thing when they back themselves into a corner. And those are the ones that I always kind of, I don't say anything about it, and I'm just doing this in good humor, but I kind of smirk at. I kind of have this snarky attitude. Not because they're eating cooked food, not because they've changed the way they're eating, but because they were the ones in your face preaching raw is law, 100%, telling you why, giving you all this cooked food is poison, giving you this, giving you that, it must be raw, 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 in your face with raw all the time. And then they have their big moment and they go totally the other way. They hate the raw food diet, they diss the raw food diet, and I just think that's just funny. And then a lot of times they get all emotional and weepy, like they have to come forth and make a big confession, like, I have sinned and I got to confess this to y'all, when they didn't need to do that in the first place. If you're going to eat some cooked food, it's fine. Don't put any guilt. Don't put anything on yourself. But, you know, less of the drama and less thinking in this black and white. It's got to be one way or the other. You know, let's just be happy that we're eating a plant-based diet. Let's try to do it as clean as possible. And you know what? Let's more worry about what I'm eating. I worry more about what I'm eating than what other people are. So, you know, no judgments. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace.